Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new Destiny video. Guiding Light here back, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys a few tips and tricks on how to snipe a little bit better in Destiny after the 2.4 patch. So after watching this video and utilizing some of these tips, I'm sure a lot of you guys will be better at sniping, and without further ado, let's get into these tips. So they've actually lowered the target acquisition and they've increased the flinch damage a lot now. So you actually have a little bit less time. Once you start getting shot at, there's basically no way that you can land the shot on somebody. Now they have actually made things a little bit easier because the first bullet doesn't actually count towards any sort of flinch damage, but once you start getting shot 2 or 3 times, that's when the flinch takes effect. So the first tip that I have for you guys now today is to just get your shots off a little bit faster and always be sure that you're near cover, because after you get that first bullet off, if you're getting shot at, you want to just dip behind cover as soon as possible, because if you're getting shot at, it's almost impossible to get somebody now. Once you start flinching, you're not going to be able to land shots as accurately, and it's almost impossible. As you saw right there, the only reason I was able to kill that guy is because he had only landed that first shot on me, so the flinch hadn't taken effect. So this brings me to my first tip. If you are getting shot at and you don't think that you're going to be able to get that shot off immediately, or at least be able to land a body shot or something like that, you want to immediately just stop sniping and get behind cover. Now the other tip that I can give you guys is that if you are getting shot at and the guy's not killing you that quickly and you still have time to react, what you want to do is just dip behind a wall as fast as you possibly can, or any sort of cover. Just get out of your scope, wait about a second or so, and then the flinch will actually go away, and then you can rescope into your scope and it'll reset the timer, giving you a few more seconds to land that precious shot. And then that's basically how you have to do things now. So if you're getting shot at, you can't just aim down your sight and just hope to get that lucky headshot before the guy finishes you off. What you actually have to do is get behind cover, wait for the flinch to completely go away, which takes somewhere between a half a second and a second, and then you can easily go back out, engage again, and aim down your sight and get that snipe off quite easily. Now the easiest way I've found to get used to this is to try to use a sniper that has unflinching on it. I know not every sniper has it, but a few snipers here and there, you may get lucky enough to get that unflinching perk. That's a really great perk to use if you're still trying to get used to this patch. I used that for about a day or two, and then I finally was able to switch back to my 1,000-yard stare and some of the other snipers that I had that didn't exactly have as much stability or as much of the flinch resistance. So if you're just now getting used to it and you haven't really sniped too much after that patch, you do want to get that unflinching sniper out for just now. Until you're completely used to how the flinching works, it's best to just use this sniper with unflinching on it. That way it's not as hard to get used to things from the start. Now another tip I can give you guys is to try to get a little bit better at quickscoping. Now I know this isn't exactly easy to practice, but if you go into PvE and you just go fight some dregs or some fallen, they're actually pretty good to start quickscoping on, especially the knights, because they actually will try to dodge your attacks here and there, and it's always good to have a moving target, so that way you can just get a little bit better at quickscoping people that are moving and not just standing still. So if you go into PvE or maybe even private matches with a couple friends, there's actually a really good chance that you could just learn how to quickscope in just as little as a few minutes, and then once you're just a little bit used to how that works, you can get back into Crucible and use some of these other tips. So if you were sniping before this patch, not much has changed, because so long as you're not getting shot at, everything else will pretty much work the same. It's not really all that hard to get sniped so long as you're not actually already getting hit. The only thing that's different is that flinch damage. So like I said, you just have to be a lot faster with the way you get your shots out, and you have to be a lot more accurate, because you're not going to have enough time to get more than one shot out on a person that's decent. Also, one thing you might want to practice a little bit is switching from your sniper to your primary weapon. I hate to say this because a lot of people hate it when you do it to them, but sometimes you just need to get those body shots and switch to your primary and finish them off really fast with that, because it's really not going to be possible to kill somebody that's decent at the game with 2 sniper shots nowadays. So long, if they're hitting you, it's not exactly possible for you to get that shot off, and it's a lot better if you just switch to your primary and finish them off with that, because once you start aiming down your sight again, the flinching will start to take effect, and then it's almost impossible to land shots now with that flinch nerf. Now the next tip I'm going to give you guys is when you're aiming down certain hallways, or if you're just expecting someone to be popping out in a certain area, what you want to do is have your aim already pre-scoped into where their head would be. So you need to pretty much learn how tall all of the characters are. I know it kind of sounds weird, but once you get used to it, it's actually really easy. Once you realize like where everyone's head is basically going to be at all times, because basically all the characters have somewhere around the same height. So you pretty much predetermine where someone's head is going to be before they even come around the corner, and that's what I like to do in a lot of situations, is I'll just know where someone's head's going to be before they even get there, and that way once they show themselves or they try to engage in the gunfight with me, I already have that little bit of an advantage. because I'm already pre-aimed onto basically where their head already is, and I barely have to move my scope half the time that I'm already aiming somewhere because I already know where their head's going to be. You saw right there, as I came around that corner, I was already starting to scope in before I even saw the people, just because I knew that they were there and I just could already predetermine where their heads were going to be, making it really easy to just get that one-shot kill super quickly before they were even able to land any shots on me. Now, unfortunately, this isn't something you can just go into PvE and practice. You can do it in private matches now, which is pretty convenient. If you have a friend or two that wants to snipe with you or just help you practice sniping, that's really awesome. But the best place to do this at is really just in-game. Just play some Rift or something like that, something where you can get a lot of kills and there's a lot of people running around everywhere, because that's where you're going to get the most practice in the shortest amount of time, and that way you're not spending a bunch of time just getting killed because you're practicing with some of these tips. Now here's another example of this. Right from the spawn of this map, I knew exactly where most of the people were going to be because they always run down the same hallway. And as you can see, I never even drop my aim to somewhere where I could shoot somebody in a body shot. My aim is almost always basically already pre-aimed onto somebody's head, and I never have to just worry about getting a body shot or just having to even switch to my primary, because I already know that a good majority of the shots I shoot are going to be headshots just because of that tip. Half the time I come around corners or someone challenges me, I'm already pre-aimed on their head, and that is what makes the difference between winning a lot of gunfights and losing a lot of gunfights, especially now after this flinch nerf. Now, a pretty great place to practice this is in elimination or any type of game mode where someone can get revived. That's the easiest way to learn the height of characters, and just always knowing how to predetermine on someone's aim. It's the best time you can do that is when you're trying to res snipe somebody. When they're always doing that little slow motion animation where they're going from being revived to standing. You never see anyone just aiming on their body and then slowly moving it up as they spawn in. They're always pre-aimed straight to where they know their person's head is going to be, because they've red sniped so many people before that they just know exactly where to aim. And that's basically one of the best tips that I can give you guys right there, is just always knowing where someone's head is or is going to be going so that you can get that headshot off. If you get that body shot, it's not exactly easy to always switch to your primary and finish the person off. You're always wasting time, and if there's more than one enemy, there's a good chance that you're going to die from the second guy before you even have the chance to pull out your primary, and that's really why it's very important to utilize this tip. Now, there's another tip I can give you guys that is basically a pretty common tip. Now, what you want to make sure that you're doing is make sure that your gun has as much ammo in the clip as possible at all times. That way, if there's more than one enemy than or there's more enemies coming at you than you were expecting, let's say you only had like 2 bullets in your clip, and you only thought, oh, there's only one guy coming, so there's not really any reason to reload. Well, there's almost always a reason to reload, because you never know if there's going to be a second guy, or if you're going to switch weapons and then forget to reload it later. It's just always best if you reload any time that you don't see anybody around you. If your clip is empty, you want to make sure that it's loaded, and you want to make sure that you have as much ammo on your gun as possible at all times. So you always want to make sure that your clip is fully loaded before you go into any sort of crazy engagement, or if someone rushes you, there's not always a chance that you can, but you do want to make sure that your gun has as much ammo in the clip as possible at all times. That way you always have as much ammo for just about any situation. So hopefully some of these tips did help you out, especially to snipe after this 2.4 patch. If it did, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe if you're not already for future Destiny videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.